You know, some people are really tough to talk to. To my understanding, according to the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, any legislation that seeks to discriminate against any group or class of people must pass a rational basis test. All attempts to deny gay marriage have simply fallen flat in their attempts to meet this requirement, whenever those who defend gay marriage have actually had the cognizance to make that counterpoint. Rather, anytime we've been willing to demand that they uphold their burden of proof. So, let's ramble about this issue a bit. To begin with, people who are against gay marriage, they conflate the idea of their religious wedding ceremonies and legal marriage. Legal marriages can be had by anyone regardless of their religion. I, as an atheist, can walk into a court and get married, so religion is literally irrelevant to legal marriage. Even religious marriages are irrelevant, though, because there are religions that do practice gay weddings. They actually allow gays to get married according to their religion. Yet there's no reasonable person making the proposal that religious institutions perform marriages that they disagree with. It is simply a fearful falsehood that one's religion is going to have to compromise on something, or have an ideal imposed upon it. So again, it's irrelevant because it's a valid concern with no basis in reality. I could have a valid concern about dragons killing me on my way to work, but it would be irrelevant because it wouldn't be rooted in the reality that dragons are a fictional creature. Beyond that, religious individuals need to remember their responsibility to check their religion at the door when it comes to legislation. Separation of church and state. If someone can't even understand that very elementary premise of our society, secularism, then they are beyond this discussion because they are too ignorant to engage in it. What they require is education, not discussion. Another issue is the precedent that's already been set by the Supreme Court on the issue of marriage. They've already ruled in Loving v. Virginia against the laws which made marriages between the races illegal. Unless one considers homosexuals to be less than human or some second-class citizen, they literally have no excuse for what they do as far as discrimination, just like they once did to blacks. It's the exact same kind of discrimination, separate but equal. It's certain groups of straight people trying to hold on to the privilege that comes along with the use of the term marriage being used for the relationship. The disallowance of homosexuals to use that term for their relationships, it's essentially an extension of how they consider their sex to be sodomy, i.e. a form of sex they don't like. It's based on obsolete puritanical bullshit. It is, however, discrimination. Pure and simple. Even the Supreme Court considers marriage to be a right, and rights, by definition, have to be universal. Otherwise, they are not rights, but privileges. Though, I suppose it's understandable that these people think this way. The requirement that one meet their own burden of proof, that gay people are not any different from anybody else beyond their sexuality, and that sexuality is largely irrelevant when judging someone, these are all concepts that are foreign to the religious zealot who fights for the disallowance of gay marriage. It is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to reach people like this. Because it's like trying to explain quantum mechanics to a second grader. They simply don't have the foundational worldviews they're required to understand what we're talking about. They're so wildly misguided it's difficult to even talk to them about this subject. They don't even realize that what they suggest is antithetical to the principles upon which the country that they love so much is based. Even that's a point of contention, because they so heavily cherry-pick their own Bible, citing Leviticus and then ignoring all the passages surrounding the one about gays. That and this country wasn't founded on Christianity. They don't even know what a deist is, much less how many of the founding fathers were deists who thought that organized religion was destructive. Nor do they care. Just keep feeding me shit, Bill O'Reilly. Tell me who and how exactly I should fear and hate Glenn Beck. And other such retarded shit from retarded shitheads following other retarded shitheads leading even more retards. Of course, not all of them are that stupid. Again, misguided is more accurate in my very humble opinion. But at the same time, I think some of these people can be reached. You may have recently heard about the very excellent female Republican who gave a very heartfelt speech on this very issue. If not, pause the video right now and go watch it. link down in the description. I found that speech to be very telling. It demonstrates the power of making this issue personal for people. Once you make an issue personal to a person with even an ounce of empathy, it will likely help them to realize the humanity of the people against whom they intend to discriminate. Now, I don't know exactly how you could make this issue personal to these people, much less how you can know whether or not they even have an ounce of empathy or not. But I leave it to you to pick your battles and know the people that you are trying to reach. Try to understand where they're coming from so that you can actually reach them. That may include a number of fruitless discussions and arguments with strangers in public. It may be that you find people easily swayed to your way of thinking, especially if you know them personally and actually can think of an avenue by which you may be able to reach them that someone else might not. In the end, as Richard Coughlin so often puts it about Christians trying to reach atheists, remember that one of the best arguments you have against these people, especially if you yourself are one against whom they discriminate, it's you. It's who you are, how you act, and how you treat them. And I think if you conduct yourself in a more universally respectable manner to those who deserve your time and give them the benefit of the doubt, it will go miles to exposing them to the good in that which they fear and do not understand. Long days and pleasant nights.